Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and take a look at the Google Pixel 6 Pro and compare it against the Google Pixel 7 Pro and see which specific phone you should go and pick up. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, the links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can support the channel at the same time. Now, Google sent me out actually both of these phones, which was very interesting. This one last year and this one this year, but still, my opinion is going to stay the same. I like the Pixel 6 Pro from last year, and I think the 7 Pro is a little bit of a better update, but they are so similar in so many different ways. And Google did do something very weird with the Pixel 7 Pro I'm not really happy about. But on the front, the Pixel 6 Pro has a 6.7-inch, basically an AMOLED display. It's like an LTPO AMOLED display, and it's a pretty decent panel. From last year, I liked it a lot, and from this year, I think it still looks pretty good. Now, you still have, like the curved sides, which look really decent, but you did have like this bleeding light a little bit, which isn't that big of a deal. You can only see it with some wallpapers, but it still looks great. You have, 120 hertz panel as well, which is really cool. Fingerprint sensor in the display, and you have a whole bunch display as well, which is really nice. So I was a fan of the Pixel 6 Pro display from last year, and with the Pixel 7 Pro display, it's a little bit interesting. I mean, it's pretty much the same exact panel. So we are getting a 6.7-inch LTPO AMOLED display on this one as well. So the main thing and the main difference here is that one, you are getting a brighter display on this specific phone. So I'm a fan of that. I love having a brighter display, and I'm so glad that this specific phone has that type of capability too. So at the end of the day, that is something that's awesome. And personally, again, when you have a phone like this, you're going to be getting a better and brighter display on the Pixel 7 Pro than the Pixel 6 Pro, which it should be like that because this is like the newer model. So I'm really happy to see that. In terms of thickness and thickness and the rest of the body, you can kind of see that kind of the same thing on the side. There's really not like that big of a difference. Both these phones had massive camera bumps for the most part, but it's kind of like appealing. Like it doesn't look ugly, and I think it actually looks pretty good when you kind of think about it. Both these phones also have SIM card trays, which is nice. That is something the iPhones do not have anymore. And I think the overall size of these things are identically the same as well. I don't see that big of a difference. On the bottom, we have USB Type-C ports as well as speakers, and that kind of covers it up on the sides. Now on the back, we also have a little bit of a different design as well. So with the Pixel 6 Pro, we had the theory behind these are exactly the same. Not the theory, but like the way the cameras are situated, it's exactly the same thing. Wide, ultra-wide telephoto lenses on both these phones. But you can see on the Pixel 7 Pro, it's a little bit of a different design. And I kind of like this one. It's like a circular thing with like the little circle on the side. And both of these look great. I think they look awesome. And both these cameras are really good too. So we do have two little glass shards. So like the one at the top and one at the bottom. Now, both these things support wireless charging, reverse wireless charging as well, and I'm a big fan of that. Now, I do think both of these are the white colors of both, so I don't remember this one, but I think Google sent me this one, and I don't really understand what was going on with this color. This one is more white, so if you're into that kind of stuff, then this one might be a better option for you, and that kind of covers it up on the outside. Both these support IP certification and different things like that too, so in a durability standpoint, there's going to be lots of overlap for sure, which is really cool. Now, in the software and longevity standpoint, for one, realistically speaking, the day the Pixel 7 Pro gets an update will be the same day a Pixel 6 Pro also gets an update. That's the one thing I love about Google. They're not like Samsung. If, the Android 13, 14, 15 updates come out, the same day the 7 Pro gets it will be the same day, most likely, the 6 Pro gets it as well, unless Google switches some things up, which I don't think they're going to do. And, if you want the longer lasting phone, the Pixel 7 Pro is going to be the one for you. This phone is going to definitely last longer, which I think is a really cool thing. If you want the longer lasting phone between these two, the 7 Pro is going to be there for you. But as I mentioned before, both of these phones, since they're stock Android and since there's a huge development community behind it, you are going to be getting long lasting phones from both of these. So from my experience and in my opinion, that is a big thing to keep in mind as well. So from that specific standpoint, that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go into a speed comparison between these two, and this is the one area where I'm kind of weirded out by Google. I don't know why they did this. They put less RAM in the base model on the 6 Pro, on the 7 Pro than on the 6 Pro, at least from what I was looking at. So the 7 Pro has that Tensor G2 chipset inside of it with 8 gigs of RAM on the base model and 12 gigs of RAM on the top tier model. With the 6 Pro from last year, and I've seen a couple of companies do this too. I think Samsung's done this too as well. They put the Tensor G1 chipset or Tensor 1 chipset inside of this one, which is great. But they put 12 gigabytes of RAM on all the models. So they technically dropped the RAM if you think about it on the base models, but whatever, I guess it's okay. Let's go see which one is the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are clear in the background. The 6 Pro is here. The 7 Pro is on the right. So let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. About the same thing. Camera 3, 2, 1. Okay, do different pop-ups always. Okay, of course we get these things. Now let's go and take a photo. Looks like this one is dark mode, this one is not. Okay, so they both did dark mode. Let's see which one is faster. And they're both actually taking a little bit of time. I think the 6 Pro is a little bit slower than the 7 Pro there, but it was still very, very close. Gesture-wise and getting into the photos, same thing. Messages 3, 2, 1. About the same thing too. Play Store 3, 2, 1. So 7 Pro was slightly faster there, but again, it was very, very close. It looked like the 6 Pro was actually faster at the loading speeds, but still very, very close between them. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into, we already did the camera. We have a bunch of these third-party applications we can go and get into. We can try something like Temple Run 1, 3, 2, 1. And of course we get into this pop-up, but that didn't affect the speed. Pretty much the same thing on both. I think the 6 Pro is slightly faster, but that could be for me tapping it, so it's not even that big of a deal. We can try something like Stack, 3, 2, 1. Very smooth opening speeds on both as well. I think the 6 Pro is faster there. Temple Run 2, which I do not have on this phone, which is very, very weird. We try Facebook, 3, 2, 1. So 2 different things. I've already, opened up these apps on all of them, so it's weird that happens. Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. Six Pro, I think, again, is the slightly faster one. Netflix 3, 2, 1. And again, the 6 Pro is the faster one. We can try something like Instagram 3, 2, 1. And 6 Pro is like instantaneous. And I've already closed out of all these apps in the background. I've already opened up these apps too, so it's weird I'm getting these pop-ups again. Snapchat 3, 2, 1. Okay, we can try Genshin Impact 3, 2, 1. Now, with this game, like I mentioned before, I played a ton of games on the Pixel 6 Pro. I've actually used this thing as like kind of like the gaming console, not really. With the 7 Pro, I just got it, so like it's going to take a little bit of time to test it, but I think over time with software updates, I'm seeing the same thing with the Pixel 7. It's going to get faster over time, but right now it does seem like the 6 Pro is faster and overall better optimized than the 7 Pro. So we'll kind of see what happens in the future, but that's kind of how both of them are holding up right now in the speed department. Now in the camera department, it's almost the same thing too, if I'm being honest. So they both have triple camera setups that I kind of talked about earlier, wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lenses, and that is a really cool thing. They kind of kept the same thing, which is cool. They've optimized it a little bit more. 4K at 60 on the back and the front. Now with something like the Pixel 6 Pro, I personally found that this camera was pretty good. It definitely wasn't the best camera I think of last year, but I will say it's a pretty good camera. You do have basically 20x zoom technically, so you have 20x zoom. I think a lot of it is digital, and you have 0.7x zoom. It's weird because iPhones can do 0.5x, so this one is kind of 0.7x whatever. You have portrait mode, you have motion mode, you have night sight, you have video mode, and you have a few different modes you can choose from as well, which is really cool. And this camera from last year, I think was pretty good. Again, was it perfect? No. But I think for the most part, for like an Android phone from a Google Pixel, they have been improving their cameras quite a bit. And I do think from the Pixel 5 to the 6 Pro, that was a way bigger upgrade than I think the 6 Pro to the 7 Pro. I think this camera is definitely better. I think it's definitely a better camera. And I've seen the same thing with the Pixel 6 and the 7 as well. And with this one, and for some of you asking, I had 2 different Pixel 7 Pros, one that I bought and one that I actually, Google sent me. So this was the one they sent me and I had to return the other one. But in this case, I have camera mode, portrait mode, standard motion mode as well. You have night sight, but you still have actually a video mode as well. And you have a few different modes. So there's a lot of overlap here. There's really not a specific, situation where I'm like, oh my goodness, this camera is so much better because of this. They're all very similar. You still have 20x zoom that you can use. Actually, you have 30x zoom on this camera, which is very interesting. So you have a little bit more zooming in capability. You still have, it seems like 0.6x. So it's a little bit of a better ultra-wide camera as well. So it is an overall better camera system as far as I can tell. But if you still have the 6 Pro, I think it's totally okay as well. So to kind of sum up this whole entire video, what I can tell you is I think the Pixel 7 Pro is a very good phone for the most part, but I don't think it's that big of an upgrade from the Pixel 6 Pro. If I'm being completely honest with you, I think if you have a Google Pixel 6 Pro, I would probably recommend just keeping this phone. I mean, if the 7 Pro was 100, like a 10 out of 10, which it's not, but if let's just say it was a 10 out of 10, the 6 Pro is like easily like a 9.6 out of 10. This thing, they have pretty much the same displays. This one's brighter. You have almost the same type of camera setup, although this one's better. The battery life, I think, is going to be very interesting. I haven't done a full battery comparison, but they have the same battery size. Both have USB Type-C chargers, the IP certification, reverse and wireless charging, which is nice. The only thing with the Pixel 7 Pro is that it has a more optimized chipset. It's going to get better over time, and it's going to probably last longer and softer than this one. But if you have a 6 Pro, I would probably recommend keeping it if I'm being honest. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, then let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.